all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live life on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
What is going on, Hive? Sorry about that. You know, sometimes plans change at the last minute, and Sammy T. Mafia was supposed to be on the show. Unfortunately, it sounds like her child was projectile vomiting. So I had to go ahead and prepare more slides than normal for when I have a guest on. And then, you want to talk about Murphy's Law, my browser decides to update and say, unless you have this version, your camera and mic will not connect. So the fact that I'm not sweating through this suit right now means that I have a great stream lined up, and I just thought to myself, stay calm, Birdie. Stay calm. The Hive will have your back. I really do. I hate being late, right? I really do. I know there's sometimes that I got to add the finishing touches to it as far as the stream goes, but yeah, I apologize about tonight. That's on me. And again, I hope Sammy T. Mafia's kid feels better. I know that stuff happens, but nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and say what's up to everybody. We got Philly Girl, Liz, Nikita, Randy, Southern Blue Bella, Luna Bliss, Ariana Gary, Rhiannon. Hopefully I said that right, Nicole. D-Dog Wifey, K13, Carrie D1, Tiffany Elena, Dina, Michelle Vibe, Happy Luna, Rose, Purple Fire, Armor of a Patriot. I love that. What's up, Big Stacy? Sabrina, Jasmine, T-Goat, Every time now I think of that because you were like, can it be the T-Goat Award? It is tonight again. Dangerous Zone. Formal Thursdays are the best. Thank you. Do you guys like the suits on Thursdays? I know Sammy T and I usually do that together, but at this point, it's kind of becoming a habit. I like putting on a suit. You know, it's kind of like look good, feel good, play good. I like it. A gluten-free girl, Misha. Jeff and Kim, Germilla. KR 4546. Law Chick 79. UFO Dog, Crime and Cookies, Jasmine Hall, Katharina Pierce, Nova Award, or November Award, depending on how you chose to shorten your username. There was a username that I saw when I was, or like a screen name when I was editing, that was the wildest name I've ever seen in the Hive, and now I'm blanking on it. It was Crop Duster 22. And I just thought to myself, I know that that's not a random generated username. To say Crop Duster 22. I don't know why. I think it's funny. You guys crack me up. I appreciate it. And even though last night was like an impromptu call-in, if you tuned into the stream, it was fun. Okay. And I know that this is a serious topic, but it was fun. Right? It felt like we were all just hanging out as friends. And I think that's important, right? Really do. Lele Bay says, Birdie the Suit King. I gotta get a couple other ones. Maybe I'll get some other jackets that I can rotate in. Because I have a lot of like darker suits. I feel like the blue looks good in this lighting. You say, oh, Birdie, he cares about the lighting. Well, when you have this type of camera and you have background lights, for people that don't know, it can make you look all weird if you don't account for that, which I've had to learn on the fly, because there's sometimes when I've streamed and I look like a tomato, or I look really dark or dim. So I'm working on it. All right. I'm working on it. Ava's tuning in from Southeastern Tennessee. Dame says, you bring a new look to the suit and hat. Appreciate that. Sammy T Mafia gave us this idea, and now it's a thing. Every Thursday, I will wear a suit for as long as I do this. UK Karen's tuning in. God damn it. DeRat, why did you have to do that to me? Okay. Why? You go first. You go first. You let me know how it goes. All right. Let me know if it's a good time. All right. Let's get into, well, actually not the Discord question of the day. If you have not hit the like button, please go ahead and tap the like button, hit subscribe. That's the best way to support this stream. I don't put any of the 7 p.m. streams behind a paywall. I don't even have a paywall. And as a reminder, any super chat over $4.99 out of the kindness of your hearts, if you feel kind enough to donate to ask a question, I will do my best to address it immediately. If you do want to screenshot this, and then after the live finishes up, you just got to tap the QR code from your Photos app, and that will take you to the Discord, my TikTok, the Spotify playlist for all the intro songs, as well as Hive Mind merch store, which shout out to UFO Dog. UFO Dog is on a generational run. We've had to take the merch internally. Okay. So if you guys haven't noticed, I've been pushing that a little bit more. We have a ton of new designs, and UFO Dog, Luna Bliss, Discord Dawn, they are crushing it. I love all of these. These are awesome. I order samples immediately. Can't be redacted. Within a day, that was up, which I think is so cool that we kind of do merch that's inspired from the stream and the Hive. So I appreciate that. I hope you guys go and check that out. Let me go ahead and get this back up on screen, get the comments up. Now, okay. The Discord question of the day comes from Heart of Gold. I love questions where, and I know everybody thinks about ideally, before they type it out, what am I going to ask? This is a very well thought out series of questions. It feels very Socratic. It feels like I'm going to ask you this first, and then I'm going to ask you that after. And eventually, you're going to come to your own conclusion, which is what the Socratic questioning method is. And so Heart of Gold asks, why have we not asked the question, why was Hunter Chapin's SUV in the driveway? Did Ethan drive it there? Why? When he had his own vehicle. Did Hunter drive it there? If so, why did he leave it there? At 2:27 on this video, Hunter Chapin says Hunter Johnson woke him up in the morning and told him about Ethan and Xana. When did this happen? Remember, Hunter Chapin's phone was apparently broken, and Hunter Johnson didn't leave 1122 after finding Ethan and Xana. So what is going on? That is a great question. And it reminds me to add one more thing to the slides. Bear with me. And Hive, look, I'm not upset with Sammy T. I get it. Kids get sick. So I hope that it didn't come off that way. It really had nothing to do with her. I just wanted to make sure that I'm prepared for the show, because whenever I have a guest on, a lot of it isn't visual based. And I do have a handful of things that I can put onto the stream tonight. And this just reminded me of it. My ultimate goal is to give you all the best viewing experience. Make sure that I'm hearing your guys' opinions, and then I'm also bringing my own opinions to it. So give that 1 second to upload. I do have the video, or I thought I did, uploaded, because we're going to watch this. It is interesting. It's very interesting. So how is it right here?
And the mannequin.
It's a 3-minute clip. Here it is from KXLY. This was 7 months ago. We're going to go ahead and watch this.
Accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students is set to plead guilty tomorrow.
As 4 News Now first told you yesterday, Kohberger is set to plead guilty in order to avoid the death penalty. And today, we've learned that Kohberger and the victim's family will be in the courtroom during that hearing. In the letter sent to the families of the victims, prosecutors say Kohberger will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences and will waive his right to appeal. Tonight, we are hearing from the family of murder victim Ethan Chapin. ABC's Kana Whitworth has the story and what the family wants you to know about their son and brother.
We just decided maybe it was best to tell our story of Ethan literally one time. He deserves it. He deserves our story of him.
This morning, as the Idaho murder suspect prepares to accept a plea deal, the family of Ethan Chapin speaking publicly together for the first time since Ethan, his girlfriend Xana Kernodle, and her roommates Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez were brutally murdered in an off-campus home at the University of Idaho.
I miss him every day. When you lose your son at 20, it's different. It's a different loss. And I miss him every single day. And I always will.
Ethan, a triplet with his siblings, Hunter and Maisie, all attending the University of Idaho together. Hunter and Maisie and their parents, Jim and Stacy, now telling their story in a new Prime Video docuseries, One Night in Idaho, The College Murders, remembering their 6'4", larger-than-life brother and son.
We played every sport together. Every time we went in the car, it was together, partied together. There was never a dull moment.
The night before Ethan was killed, Maisie brought him to her sorority formal. She now cherishes the text he sent her before bed.
So he started off by texting me. I think he said, "Dog, come hang out. We all want you here." And I said, "I'm going to bed." And then he said, "Love you." And I didn't even respond to that. I think I was asleep by then.
And the "I love you" kind of stood out, though.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Hunter, who pledged Sigma Chi with Ethan, says the next morning, a friend at the fraternity woke him up saying the police were at Xana's house.
Hunter Johnson came up to me and said, I was like, "Where's Ethan and Xana?" And he's like, "They're not here anymore." So, "What do you mean they're not here anymore?" He's like, "I think they were murdered last night."
Hunter was forced to call his family with the news, his parents in disbelief.
It drives me crazy because I've always wanted to protect my family. And there's really nothing there that I could have done. You know, instantly he was taken.
A suspect, Brian Koberger, arrested nearly 7 weeks later. With a bit of relief, the Chapins shifting their focus to their son's legacy, getting tattoos to honor him.
We all benefited from having Ethan in our lives for 20 years. It's a tremendous loss.
So I have a couple of things to say. One, I know that we are hanging on to every word. But if Hunter Chapin showed up, how did Hunter Johnson wake him up and tell him he thinks that Ethan and Xana were murdered? Now, here's the thing. That aired 7 months ago. Another thing that really stuck out to me in that interview is that Ethan's father said he was taken from us instantly. Instantly. That, for whatever reason, when I heard that, I thought it was like Ethan didn't feel it. That's how I took it. And so, Heart of Gold, you get the T-Goat Award or the GOAT Award because those are great questions. And I'm going to replay that one part just one more time. Does this fit into the timeline? This isn't early clips. This was 7 months ago. One's in the chat if you guys are following me on this. How can I say this? There's a bunch of truth mixed in with just enough narrative and lies that makes it hard to unravel. The best cover-ups have a ton of truth in them. And that's what it feels like we're able to now call out or point out. And let's listen to this again. Just this last couple of, 30 seconds. And also how they said it was the night before. He said, "I love you." Okay, well, if it was the night before after the formal, you didn't respond. Okay. But it seems to really affect his sister.
Bed.
So he started off by texting me. I think he said, "Dog, come hang out. We all want you here." And I said, "I'm going to bed." And
that sounds like truth. Would everybody else agree? The facial expressions, the tone, "Dog, I want you here. Come hang out." I can totally see that being what a brother and sister at the same school would say to each other. And I can totally see how she's like, "I was already asleep. I didn't even respond. Said, love you," right? That is the truth. It's absolutely the truth. Now, the person who said the night before was the interviewer, just as a reminder.
And then he said, "Love you." And I didn't even respond to that. I think I was asleep by then.
And the "I love you" kind of stood out, though.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Hunter, who pledged Sigma Chi with Ethan, says the next morning, a friend at the fraternity woke him up saying the police were at Xana's house.
Hunter Johnson came up to me and said, I was like, where's Ethan and Xana? And he's like, they're not. Hunter Johnson came up.
We're at Xana's house.
Hunter Johnson came up to me and said, I was like, where's Ethan and Xana? And he's like, they're not here anymore. So what do you mean they're not here anymore? He's like, I think they were murdered last night.
Hunter was forced to call his family with the news, his parents in disbelief.
It drives me crazy because I've always wanted to protect my family. And there's really nothing there that I could have done. You know, instantly is. You know, instantly is. You know, instantly is. He was taken.
A suspect, Brian Koberger, arrested
instantly. Now, I will acknowledge Ethan's autopsy reports have way less stab wounds than some of the other victims. There's so many questions that in interrogation, a real interview, a trial with cross-examination would have answered. So if nothing else comes out of the Hive, right, which I know is not going to be the case. I'm being a little bit dramatic there. But if nothing else comes out of us hanging out every night at 7 to talk about headlines and true crime, one of the things that I now hold so near and dear to my heart passionately is we need trials. Because we now, for a lot of us, you might have been on the fence for the news and how much they can influence public opinion. We knew they could. This case solidified it to the point where it's like, I'm dying on that hill. You got to go to trial. You got to go to trial. Put them up on the stand. Put everybody up on the stand. What do you mean Hunter Johnson woke you up? Isn't that you pulling into the house at, 4 whatever? Didn't you pull into 1122 in the black Explorer? Is that not your car? So what do you mean he woke you up? He woke you up inside of that house? He woke you up inside of the frat house? Those are simple questions. Ethan's mom says Ethan deserved to have us talk about this once. Ethan's dad said he was taken from us instantly. If Xana's fighting off somebody with 55 stab wounds and opened her door with DoorDash in her hand, Ethan's on how much Adderall? Like, when I think of instantly, I think of you pick your head up out of a trench in World War I, you take a bullet to the face. I'm sorry for the dramatic imagery, but that's what I think of instantly. There was nothing you could do. And Hunter Johnson, his name is all over this. The two people, being Emily and Hunter, they hold a lot more of the story than Dylan and Bethany probably do, as far as from an outsider standpoint. Because we would look at what was going on more accurately through their lens, in my opinion, through their perspective, getting calls, getting texts or Snapchats, getting told to come over. Do you need me there? Do you need me to pick you up? But Hunter, when did you wake up Ethan? So Ethan drove there, and then Ethan left, and then you went and woke him up after he had allegedly drove there and told him that Ethan and Xana were murdered. That was 7 months ago. I find that very strange. I also find it strange that 7 months ago, and I'm not hating, I'm not defending myself. I'm saying this because I can empathize with people. Really. I try to. I never try to come off as, and I don't mean to sound soft. I can be intense and I can be passionate about stuff, but I never want to just talk smack on a family. But with Mrs. Chapin saying Ethan deserves this one time to be talked about, but then goes to CrimeCon and is the spokesperson for Othram. I'm just saying, do whatever you want, obviously. But if the public opinion is kind of now teetering, I don't see why that's confusing to other families or to the state or to people that are in the mainstream media, right? It doesn't make sense. One's in the chat. You feeling me on that? Because again, another clip of the parents. I feel like what the families say, what the parents say, how many excuses can you come up with for why what they say is wrong? We show clips from day 1 to 7 months ago. Victim impact statements. I find it very odd that doesn't hold more weight. So I'm trying to give that more weight. I'm trying to give that more validity, because if they're trying to speak the truth, for all we know, they're going through the same thing that we are. Yeah, well, I know you know that. We're very sorry for your loss. We have to type this out. We have to put black boxes every 3 lines in court documents in the murder of your child. So there's a gag order that's issued. You can't talk or you'll be held liable. You'll be charged with a crime. And there's what I believe to be a lot of truth in what these parents say. All of them. Siblings, parents, significant others. It's a confusing night because the state has made it have to be perfectly packaged with a bow on top to get their conviction. I would argue there's more of a motive for the state to get a conviction. Think about this. There is more of a motive for the state to convict Brian Kohberger than what they said Brian Kohberger had a motive to kill those kids. You're just going to have to trust us at a certain point, is a quote from Brett Payne. You would ideally see a motive after a while. Oh, we are seeing a motive after a while to the state, to Bill Thompson, to the investigators, to the university. We are absolutely seeing a motive start to kind of peer through all the BS. I still don't see one for Brian. I bet Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana are rolling in their graves, seeing law enforcement and state officials trying to pin it on Brian and Brian only. The chat is flying by quickly. I saw one that said the Chapins are evil. The G family does X, Y, or Z. Right? Xana's parents have substance abuse issues. At the end of the day, they are parents. Those are their kids. They're having, and I'm not going to defend anybody. I'm giving you just, here's my raw thoughts in live time. When I think about that, I could go on either side. I could say, well, you should have, drawn a line in the sand and said, no, I'm not doing this. I don't care. Charge me with whatever. Right? That's more of the Monday morning quarterback birdie answer. But I also see talking to high ups in all of these agencies that would say, just, we don't want this to happen again. We have to catch these people. And if you go out there and you do this, it could blow 10 years of undercover work. We are so close to getting all these people. We're going to connect you with Othram. We're going to have you on the news every day, right? Now, the biggest X factor, and this might be the longest question of the day that we've had, but it was a great question. Again, shout out to Heart of Gold. Was Hunter Johnson the one that woke up Ethan Chapin? And K-Kaz girl, great point, said the families could have planned the civil suit to expose the truth possibly through it. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's lawyer came to them and said, hey, you gotta take a civil suit to WSU. They brought Brian in. There was probably some form of a complaint against him as a TA or as a student if he was weird. And there's 13 or whatever they say. We can get discovery. So just say what they want, right? Say what they want. You were lied to. I don't know. That seems to be what's playing out. Lisa said, nope, Dylan woke Hunter Chapin up. Is there a video of that similar to what I just showed? Serious question. I haven't seen that, if there is. So, great question, Heart of Gold. Again, Goat Award. Thank you so much for taking the time to type that out and provide the links to those videos. Now, this next clip goes hand in hand with what Heart of Gold said, which is Hunter Chapin is saying that he's woken up by Hunter Johnson. We have now seen full transparency into Dylan's phone records. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Indeed. How many calls, how many texts, all while her roommates had a wild struggle. We heard the screams. They heard the screams. Dylan saw a masked man. They're texting each other how scared or screwed they are. Right? Luna Bliss and Luna may have said this came from Sleuth or Dare. So both those two, quite a tag team the last week. And shout out to those two. They sent me a 10:02 timestamp on 1122. And my ears perked up. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. Turn your volume up. I will not talk. It's a short clip. Tell me if you hear what I hear. Okay. I'm going to turn it down. Sometimes it blows out on the stream through the mics. So I don't think it's unreasonable that if the 911 call came in at 11:58 or 11:59, right? If at 10 you hear louder voices, you hear that same diesel engine sound, Kaylee, you hear whatever, we don't even need to get into the minutia of it. My point in showing this is that, is there a party going on at 10:22 a.m. on a Sunday? That's what I want to know. Is there a party going on at 10:02 on a Sunday? That doesn't sound like a party noise. That sounds like somebody's somewhat freaked out. Somebody's scared. And let's say this. If it's coming from 1112, I want to know what the hell was going on in that house for damn near 8 hours. Because that sounds very suspicious if that is 1112. But no, there's a quadruple homicide. To the point where if you were standing on their patio, you could reach out and touch that other house, being 1122, where everything went down and there's a bloodbath. So now, when you still hear people freaking out at 10 in the morning, and you hear people freaking out at 1 in the morning, and at 2 in the morning, and at 4 in the morning, and at 10 in the morning, are we to think that a house that has the roommates who are showering and they have no concern if the cops are showing up and they don't remember if they called the police about the footage, are we to think that that's where this noise came from? Or are we to think about, oh, just like literally where that sign is behind me, that far away, there's 4 dead bodies. So that provides a lot of perspective on the noise, in my opinion. You don't even have to know what people are saying. It sounds the same. The volume of the words, the distortion of them sounds very, very similar. That's my point. I get why people would want to say it's a party. Those are party noises. Okay, guys, the party noise point, in my opinion, I don't know how you can still argue it. Because if you want to say that it's party noises, then there are dramatic screams. And I would ask everybody in here, if you've heard the screams, if you heard all the noises, and you were at a party, would it continue on? Wouldn't you see maybe people walking away? And you could say, oh, you do see people. No, you see people getting dropped off, and anybody else you see walking around is rather sus. Right? And then, okay, so if it was a party, then you have to go back to what the Goncalves family said, which is that their niece called them and said Kaylee was at a party and got shot. So either way, we are now backed into a corner of, are you going to believe the state's documents and the investigators that we have poked holes in umpteen times, or are you going to believe what victims' parents say? All right. If you want to really pour it on, as far as outside factors that could argue for what the point is I'm trying to make, I would say Xana's mom said that they thought they were eating pizza around midnight. Xana's father said that at 11:30 he would have been there. Xana wasn't feeling good. If he would have been drunk and drove, he would have been there on the couch. If it is party noises, it almost goes right into that. You do hear loud noises, but then you have the G family saying Kaylee was shot. The Chapins are saying 2 a.m. is a dark hour. Hunter Johnson apparently woke up Hunter Chapin. Why are those people all wrong? Do you know how ass backwards it is? You could say one or two things. Either the people that were there, and since November of 2022, even to today, there are families that are talking that they have been lying. Or you could say maybe there is a vested interest in the state of Idaho, the University of Idaho, landlords, Washington State, and however many other donors to cover this up and wait how long to just have a slow drip of information, which I don't know how you can't see it. There's clearly a parallel reconstruction of the night going on publicly. That's what we are being shown. We are being slowly shown a parallel reconstruction of the night that makes us say, that's a little bit strange, but if that happened, then that couldn't have happened. But now we know X, Y, and Z, so that must mean that A, B, and C happened, right? In addition to the interviews. So this is a tactic in a cover-up. That's what I am passionate about talking, or that's what I'm passionate about when it comes to talking to you all in the Hive. I love the narrative warfare side of things. I don't want people to get got by the news, but there is a playbook that they always follow. We're going to release all this. We're going to beat it into your heads. How dare you question it? Blah, 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 blah. Shame on you. Victim shaming, victim blaming. Redact. Then enough people finally get pissed off enough and they rise up to the point that people have in the Idaho 4. All right, we'll give you a little bit. The expert said it couldn't have just been Brian Koberger, in addition to all the other documents. And now we're going to see all the phone activity. Then we're going to get to see what those, most likely what they were, like what were the details of the phone activity. Then we're going to get the health data. And then we're going to slowly come to realize this was a cover up from the jump, that so many people's gut instinct told them something's off from the second that they heard the 911 call. We have been playing within the It's like, has anybody ever owned a golf cart compared to if you drive a golf cart on the golf course? When you take a golf cart out onto a golf course, they have what's known as a governor on it. It limits the speed that you can go at for safety. That way you're not doing donuts in the middle of the fairway, or if you get too drunk, you're not going to crash into a tree. But if you buy a golf cart, not at a golf course, and you own it, you're like, holy hell, I didn't know that golf carts could go this fast. What we have seen in the Idaho 4 case, to make an analogy, is that we are playing within the confines of a golf course golf cart. There's a governor on it. It's slowing us down. Versus if we had complete access to all of the information, we'd be doing 45, half in the bag down in Florida at Pebble Beach, getting kicked out of the course. That's how fast we're moving. I guarantee it. We would have had this shit solved. You guys get my point. Moving on. It leads me into this question. If Dylan Mortensen is involved, why is she free? Most times when I talk about this point, we move on rather quickly. But I seriously feel like there is one answer. She is being protected. The debate needs to become why. Why is she allowed to have contradictions, to have all the coaching, to have the people interrogating her or interviewing her say, "We are just happy you are here. If at any point you want to stop," you can say, "Oh, it's a tactic, Birdie." Well, it's been happening now for how long? So if she's protected, my question is why? Because the why of Dylan being protected is totally 100% relevant to what potentially happened. And Bethany too. Thank you, Kelly. I'm focusing in on DM here with the texts and the activity. It's so weird. You were frozen in shock. Look, okay. I'm going to back up a second. I'm going to back up just a second here. And I know that sometimes people like, I've seen the comments where it's like, "Oh, I love Crash Out Birdie." I don't want to crash out because this is so serious. We have how many parents saying 11:30, Xana wasn't feeling good, being her father. Her mother says, "I was under the impression at midnight they were ordering or eating a pizza." Chapin's, 2 a.m.'s a dark hour. The Goncalves family, they were at a party. Kaylee was shot after their niece called them. Dylan, I heard Kaylee run up and down the stairs and say that somebody's in the house. Bethany, I saw a firework. The state and the news said that these people were all killed in their sleep. That's what they went with, everybody. Then it comes out, Brian Koberger, no connection. We can't put him in the house. Nothing on him. Nothing in his car. Nothing in his apartment. Takes the world's most wanted car across the country with his father on a road trip after everybody has seen that car plastered all over the news, yet he's so smart, he wants to just see if he can get away with it. I've said that many times. But now we get to see really what Dylan was doing on her phone. And you go back to they were killed in their sleep. Well, they shielded Dylan with she was in a frozen shock phase. I don't know about you, but I would bet my left nut that if I was frozen in shock, I'm not on Indeed, okay? Ever. Not in any world, not in any mindset, especially not after I just saw a masked man in my house, hear my roommate run up and down the stairs saying somebody's in here. My other roommate hears a firework. And then in the morning, after 8 hours, I'm so scared that I'm on Indeed, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. And then I actually have no idea what happened. And I call Hunter and Emily over. And then I have the sounds of the 911 call. The way that my voice sounds. And I don't know. And we have to go check. And then the interviews with the, I don't know. I'm really drunk. I can't remember. Give me a break. So if she's involved and she's doing this, it's either the biggest miss in the most obvious involved person of all time. Like, it's either like she got away scot-free with the most obvious evidence that she's involved, or she's being protected. And when I say protected, a lot of people at this point still think by somebody rich or connected to a gang. No, I don't buy that. This is my opinion. So this is where I reserve the right for my opinion. Okay. I'm willing to hear people out. I can't believe that for a millisecond. That all of these 3-letter agencies, national security, and DMs just happen to be protected by a gang because of a boyfriend. Because some guy that she's hooking up with that's got a dad in the area nights. Just because of that the gang would protect her or the university would protect her. No, she's being protected by law enforcement. And then her attorney is coaching her on how to absorb the protection. I can't remember. I don't know. And Sherlock, you summed it up in a sentence, which was, this is one of my leading guesses, one of my leading theories and thesis. Dylan is being protected in exchange for cooperation and compliance because of said connections. There is something that, when I say is wrong, how long can we continue to say this is just corruption? I would say one of the biggest conspiracies of all time would be if this is corruption still. People want to say that's a stretch. In my opinion, I would say, no, what we're looking at is not corruption or a conspiracy. We are looking at coordination, a different C word. Again, not corruption, not conspiracy. We are looking at coordination. We are shaking hands behind closed doors to keep the lids on all of this. Because when the other families, based on what they've said, they listen to DM's interviews too. So if she's involved, I'm not saying Dylan's not involved. I'm saying a lot of people think that she knew something. My point is, why is she free? Why does she have the GoFundMe? Why is she protected by the media? Why are people that are interrogating her saying, don't say anything you don't want to. You can stop at any point. Check your phone. That's my argument here. Is it can't just be one third-party outside source. This is being done in exchange for something. One's in the chat. Does that make sense? Because that's going to be the route that I start to really lean into, because I believe that the why or what Dylan is exchanging, right? So she could be involved. She could know something, but what is it? You'd say, oh, it's Quinn. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Okay. Can we find something that, right, outside of the phone activity, she's got all the boxes checked, except how early before this went down did she know? Was it a setup? I've wondered for a long, long time if Quinn or Dylan, if this was somehow, what's the word that I'm looking for? Not a double agent, but was this a setup for people that they were connected with in exchange for protection, right? So if Dylan was connected to Quinn, or if Quinn was connected to his father, and they knew that there was something that was going to happen because of some of their roommates being tied to parents that snitched on said gang, was there a deal made? Was there some sort of AI predictive criminal behavior that flagged this area, that then started doing real life interrogations, that then did a sting? And you can say, well, that's just insane, Birdie. Really? Is it? I don't think it is. I don't think it's that insane. And if it went wrong, that also explains this. So that's a big question. Why is Dylan free? And I would ask that to anybody. This is just ridiculous. If she's actually guilty, and tell me it's not weirder if she's not being kept safe. And what I actually have prepared tonight is we're going to go back. We're going to listen to Dylan Mortenson's impact statement. Let's think about how different that sounds now. Truly seeing the phone activity, the text messages, her app activity. What was she doing? Was she awake? What did she hear? We've seen the crime scene photos. Let's see what Dylan says. 1 second.
Bethany, my appreciation for her courage, and I hope that she heals.
Next is Dylan Mortensen. We're asking for some accommodations for Miss Mortensen and that she be allowed to sit in my seat.
Sure. Dylan, just take your time, all right?
Sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. What happened that night changed everything. Because of him, 4 beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason. He didn't just take their lives. He took the light they carried it into every room. He took away how they made everyone feel safe, loved, and full of joy. He took away the ability for me to tell them that I love them and that I'm so proud of them. He took away who they were becoming and the futures they were going to have. He took away birthdays, graduations, celebrations, and all the memories that we were supposed to make. All of it is gone. And all the people who love them are just left to carry that weight forever. He didn't just take them from the world. He took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home, the people I looked up to and adored more than anyone. He took away my ability to trust the world around me. What he did shattered me in places I didn't know could break. I was barely 19 when he did this. We had just celebrated my birthday at the end of September. I should have been figuring out who I was. I should have been having the college experience and starting to establish my future. Instead, I was forced to learn how to survive the unimaginable.
So where are we at with this right now? Okay. It's a serious question, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Where are we at? And listening to this again, that is why I wanted to show it. It's not to make people listen to this again. It's rather to show this is the person that 4 a.m. masked man, bushy eyebrows, arguably the guy sitting on the left of the screen here is in prison for 4 life sentences. This same person, now that we've seen all of this, that's what was the result of it. I see so many people saying fake in the chat. You want to know what I think is wild? Okay, I have my own ears where I hear tones and I'm like, what are you doing? Right? It doesn't even have to be somebody that's sad. It could be fake angry. It could be fake excited. I'm not hating on any of the females in the Hive. One of the things that I feel like I notice with my wife, and I say this, is like, it is interesting with female voices. I feel like the tone changes are a lot more than a male's. And so it seems to be rather obvious if somebody is trying to be fake nice, like, oh, I love your sweatshirt. Your earrings are so cute. I hope that makes sense. I just think that the voice fluctuation in a female is way more obvious when it comes to a man, when it comes to a situation where you're crying, perhaps. It's not a man versus woman thing. It's just that's how my brain works. The other part, now on the male side, is what the hell is Bill Thompson doing? I would be like, get that coffee breath out of my face, sir. Get it out of my face, you bearded douchebag. That's what I would be saying to Bill Thompson right now. Stop staring at me like a creep. He doesn't move at all. You weirdo. He's looking weird. Get that nasty beard out of my face. Santa. Like, what is this position? What is this position? Is it? You better not say a word. I know you know what's on the line. You better not talk. I have a perfect record. I've gotten a conviction without even finding a body for murder, and I'm about to retire. That's a threatening pose. What are you going to say? What are you going to say, Dylan? And action. That's what it says.
I couldn't be alone. I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there. I made escape plans everywhere I went. If something happens, how do I get out? What can I use to defend myself? Who can help? And then there are the panic attacks. The kind that slam into me like a tsunami out of nowhere. I can't breathe.
Oh my God. You know what? Look, I'm going to say this. Dylan Mortensen, this is an honest question for you. For anybody. I'm not even being an asshole. This is a real question. In a criminal investigation that might have a wrongfully convicted man where the real killer is still out there, I want to know how many kids, when I say kids, I mean college-aged adults, would say that a panic attack slammed into me like a tsunami. And then you might say, well, of course she had help writing it. Oh, okay. Well, what else did she have help with? Did she have help with responding to questions? Did she have, as a defense attorney, I could run circles around this. It sounds like a Chat GPT script. It slammed into me like a tsunami. I don't even think a person would come up with that. Really. It's no disrespect to lawyers or speechwriters. It just feels like the tone that she's reading it in, it's like she's reading it for the first time. There's no selling of it. It's words with inflection in your tone.
I can't think. I can't stop shaking. All I can do is scream because the emotional pain and the grief is too much to handle. My chest feels like it's caving in. Sometimes I drop to the floor with my heart racing, convinced something is very wrong. It's far beyond anxiety. It's my body reliving everything over and over again. My nervous system never got the message that it is over, and it won't let me forget what he did to them.
I'm not going to pause it again. but I'm serious. Does this sound, let's say this is real, on the opposite side of the spectrum? Does that sound like somebody that just saw a masked man that walked out and then was on Indeed, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, waited 8 hours, texted her other roommate, I'm screwed, I'm scared. It sounds like she was absolutely traumatized, yet she went to bed and did all these other things. This really, and people are going to be like, yes, it is, Birdie. No, but what I'm saying, my point is not even personal to Dylan. My point is, why is nobody seeing this? Why is nobody calling this out that is involved in the case, that in real time can say, you know, it's like the Leonardo meme. It's like, whistle better, or whatever he does. It's like, what are you doing? What was that? What was that? That's what the point is that I'm making. It's not that we could debate right now. I'm saying in that moment, how does nobody see that? That knows everything, that has unredacted video, that has unredacted documents, that has been completely immersed in this. That's my point.
People call me strong. They say I'm a survivor, but they don't see what my new reality looks like. They don't see the panic attacks, the hypervigilance, the exhaustion, the way I scan every room I enter, the way I flinch at sudden sounds. They don't know how heavy it is to carry so much pain and still be expected to keep going, and that's because of him. He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive? He may have shattered parts of me, but I'm still putting myself back together. Piece by piece, I'm learning how to live in this new version of life. It is not easy. It hurts, but I'm still trying. And I'm not trying just for me. I'm trying for them, my friends. About a year ago, I had a dream about them. I got to say goodbye. I told them I won't be able to see you again, so I need to tell you goodbye. They all kept asking why, and all I could say was, I can't tell you, but I have to. When I woke up, I felt shattered and heartbroken, but also strangely grateful. Like maybe in some way that dream gave us the goodbye we never got. Still, no dream can replace them, and no goodbye will ever feel finished. He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing. He tried to take everything from me. My friends, my safety, my identity, my future. He took their lives, but I will continue trying to be like them, to make them proud. Living is how I honor them. Speaking today is to help me find some sort of justice for them. And I will never let him take that from me. He may have taken so much from me, but he will never get to take my voice. He will never take the memories I had with them. He will never erase the love we shared, the laughs we had, or the way they made me feel seen and whole. Those things are mine. They are sacred, and he will never touch them. I get to feel sadness. I get to feel rage. I get to feel joy even when it's hard. I get to feel love even when it hurts. I get to live. And while I will still live with this pain, at least I get to live my life.
You know what, Michelle Vibe Happy? You just summed what I was trying to say up in 3 sentences. And you get the go to word. She did something wrong, this letter, this pre-written speech, it's the price that she paid potentially for a get out of free jail card. Go sell it. Break a leg. That's a great take. I really see that being a possibility. And I think that that is well said. Thank you for the comment.
He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
Dylan, thank you so much for your courage. I appreciate it.
You know what? You got to check Bill Thompson's hard drives. I'm gonna put this back in slow motion. I'm not even gonna make an accusation on anything. Let's just rewatch this. Let's just rewatch.
And
let's just watch Bill Thompson. Let's just watch his head.
Still live with this pain. At least I get to live my life. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
Dylan, thank you so much for your courage. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, Bill, buddy boy, your time's up. Go retire. Move to God's waiting room down in Florida. Get the hell out of Idaho. You're doing nothing good there. Josh Hurwitz is sitting there next to you just thinking to himself, this guy's an effing idiot. And he's like, he really just drugged me into this. He asked me to be a part of it. What an old, senile creep. I just watched Bill Thompson stare at the star witness like this and then watch her go all the way back. It's not even worthy of a clown horn. Really, it's not. Bill Thompson gives me like not just creeper vibes. Like, dude, you got so many skeletons in your closet. If I could give you like truth serum, you would probably traumatize people from the words that would come out of your mouth, Bill, knowing what you know and knowing what you've done to people. 33-year career. Guess how many trials Bill Thompson has gone to? 2. 33 years, 2 trials. That man lives and dies by plea deals. Look at his body language. Maybe he cried because he knew, I am so cooked. I am so cooked. The internet exists now. Millions of people are watching this. I am cooked. And you know what, Bill? You are cooked. You are completely done. Good riddance with you and prosecutors that act like you do. See ya. Gone forever. Get the hell out of here. That's what I have to say to you, Bill. Pisses me off. It really does. What a dick. Honestly. Think about how many people he's put away for years. And it's maddening that we can have somebody where if Dylan, and this is hard for people to go to mentally, if Dylan is caught in the middle of this, she takes all of the heat. She takes all of the media flack, the internet flack. Right? And people will say, that can't be the case. Okay. Again, think of what we know now. The state had the balls to say they were all killed in their sleep. That's what they went with. So I don't put anything past a team that Bill Thompson's leading ever. I have to move on because I could talk about this for a very long time. It would not be good for my blood pressure. And we'll leave it at that. You know, you guys know how I feel. I think that it's disgusting. One's in the chat if you felt like that was helpful to see again. Taking the time, letting yourself just reflect on, wow, this person was the star witness. This person is what every news organization and headline smeared Brian Koberger with. That's the person that then had interviews released of too drunk, don't remember, I don't know, what's real, what's fake, and then is saying quotes in a speech that clearly is written for her. Anxiety hit me like a tsunami. And then many other obvious analogies that just are not natural unless you want to have a dramatic effect, but you have to read them with a dramatic effect. And it sounds like she's reading this for like the third time. Like she read it the night before, the morning of, and the third time is like, go, say it. I'm going to stare at you the whole time, Bill, being Bill. It's all weird. Now, what Sammy T and I were going to talk about, buckle up for this, because it is so strange to me, and I have wait just a damn minute. I'm going to read this. The volume of discovery in the Idaho 4 case is exceptional. Okay, this is from the documents of the Idaho 4 case. The volume of discovery in this case is exceptional. One of the last highly publicized death penalty case in Idaho, it involved 3 victims killed in separate incidents and a months-long investigation that spanned multiple states. The discovery in that case totaled less than 5 terabytes. See the declaration of Mary Goody at 7, State v. Lori Vallow Daybell, filed March 14th of 2023, attached as Exhibit 1, stating that discovery in the case exceeds 4 terabytes in a declaration filed 2 weeks prior to trial. The discovery provided in this case is more than 68 terabytes and dwarfs that number. It is not only an extreme outlier in Idaho, but in the entire country. Courts often refer to cases involving less than 5 terabytes of data as containing a very significant volume of discovery. This case had more than 68 terabytes. How is that possible? And Sammy, we hope Mia's feeling better. But this is what we really wanted to touch on. And next time you're on, we will circle back to this. When I told Sammy this, I was at the gym on the treadmill. I was like half out of breath. And I go, did you know that in the Idaho 4 case, there were 68 terabytes of data. And in the Epstein files, there was 300 gigs. And she gasped. And people will say this. Okay, so if anybody doesn't know this, in the Epstein files, the Department of Justice published 3.5 million responsive pages in compliance with the Epstein File Transparency Act. So 3.5 million pages, 3.5 million pages, I don't want to yell, but it's hard to stay calm, would likely total around 0.5 to 1.5 terabytes. Okay, and I put it twice because that stat is ridiculous. Okay, 68 terabytes in the Idaho 4 and 3.5 million pages would be 1.5 terabytes. But here's the thing. I know that there are people that, and I appreciate this, that say, that they're going to say, Bertie, well, what about this? They're going to say, but that's 1% or that's 2%, or the Idaho 4 had X, Y, and Z type of files. Here is my counter to that. Okay, and just here's another visual. Okay, just so people can get this through their head. Somebody make this make sense. Somebody give me a logical reason. 3.5 million pages of documents. And then again, I already know what people are going to say. Oh, this, hang on, pause. On the left, we have Brett Payne's height. And on the right, we have Brian Koberger's height. It's, again, you got to laugh through the pain sometimes. But yeah, it's insane. Now, I know that people are going to argue against the file type. They're going to say, well, Birdie, in the Idaho 4, they have stoplight cameras. They have a bunch of video surveillance from Ring cameras, right? That's what they're going to say. And it's only 1%. So think about this. 3.5 million documents. I don't give a shit if it's 1% or not. 3.5 million documents is 300 gigs. The Idaho 4 has 51 terabytes. It's a guy, it's a criminology grad who became a ninja, left a single skin cell, and the state just happens to be sitting on 68 terabytes of collateral data with no connection to the victims. Can't put them in the house. No murder weapon. No motive. You're going to just have to trust us at this point. I'm sorry for yelling. Really. I got to get better at that. Because I read this, and if you guys ever wanted to know what the voice in my head is when I read shit like this is, you just heard it. I can't stand it. Not only can I not stand this, I can't stand how people want to just discount this. Why do you want to discount it? What is your motive of discounting this? I'm not making these numbers up, dude. Nobody is. What is this? A single skin cell with no chain of custody. I should have added that in there. No chain of custody, ran through CODIS, went to Othram. They couldn't do it. Went to the FBI. Ann Taylor is on record saying, we got it back after all that. We don't know what the chain of custody is. It's a giant secret. 3.5 million documents. Idaho 4. Again, a weirdo criminology guy that just moved out there. Didn't know any of them. Never been to the house. Did this randomly because they were beautiful. With a K-bar knife they never found. And a sheath that looks brand new. Yeah. Okay. That's what I have to say. It's like, that's like the biggest clown horn that I could ever give. Going for a world record. But wait, there's more. People want to say, well, Birdie, that's because there's audio and video in the Koberger case. Don't you know? Yes, I do know. Did you see the difference? No shit. In the Epstein case, there's going to be a ton of audio and video. So if 3.5 million pages is 300 gigabytes and the Idaho 4 is 58 or 52 to 68 terabytes, yeah, there's audio and video. How does that rival an international pedophile that trafficked humans for the world's elite? Unless, hold on, unless maybe maybe that data is the most telling clue about this entire case. Maybe. I'm sorry, but there's absolutely zero chance that even if you want to say the type of data, the type of files, dude, my argument is it's still an insane amount for a single perp with no connection that did this in 7 to 8 minutes or 20 minutes, no blood on him. This is the most open and shut case that never even got a trial. Nobody heard anything. Nobody's talking. We've read all the documents. They take you nowhere. And if we only have 673 likes, Hive, swipe down on the chat right now, please. Hit the like button. Please. That's all I ask. This is free. It's free. I don't know if there's something, and I say this kindly because I do wonder sometimes, which is fine. I'm just like, that's all that I ask. I don't do memberships. Every Discord stream is free. Just tap like, please. I say that because I want this to get out there. It has nothing to do with like, oh, Birdie wants to grow his channel. Okay, I'm going to pause there. Am I a person that cares about what I do and wants to reach more? Of course. But really, if we can wake people up to the Idaho 4 based on everything that case has caused in the news, do you realize how big of a red pill that would be? Think about that. Seriously, think about how big of a red pill that would be for people that you're friends with or your family members, that it would come out on the mainstream and you can say, not only did I tell you so, can I help you pull your head that's been lodged up your ass for 8 years now out of it? Please? I'm begging you. Let me help you. And just the entire, I'm way more fired up than I thought I would be tonight. But really, the entire data is so confusing and it's telling. And it seems very, very sus. Now, please, Hive, do not go anywhere for what I'm going to say next. I've gotten a lot of messages over the last handful of months that people say, Birdie, I listen to you when I'm going through X, Y, or Z, whether it be some sort of treatment or a surgery, or just I look forward to listening to you. I want to dedicate the next conspiracy theory of the day, the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory of the day, to somebody who has gone through a very long road of battling. And I'm going to do my best to not get a lump in my throat. Just know that I appreciate you watching and tuning in. And this is something that I've never really said out loud. I told my wife today when we were at the gym, I said, I think that this is the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory of the day that I'm going to talk about. And to anybody that's going through something and tunes in and uses this stream as a way of relief, I just want you to know, I don't take it for granted. And that's why I feel bad when, again, I know it's unfortunate Sammy T had to cancel, but I want to be that, because I know that if we can all consistently tune in and be here for each other and collaborate, we're going to make a real difference. So getting off my high horse, I just want you to know that anybody that's going through stuff, I think about you and I appreciate you using this stream for that relief. And you guys are all in my prayers. This is something that I've been holding near and dear to my heart now. I've been debating showing this, but I felt like, you know what? I'm going to do it tonight. Do you guys remember the dancing nurses during COVID? Type of 1, if you remember the dancing nurses. They were everywhere. They all had the same dance. Right? People are going to say, you know, I remember, or they were actors. But I saw something today that really, really shook me to my core, because I've thought this for a long time, but I finally found somebody that puts it into words better than I could have. And it is this. Mr. Nobody on X says, I'm starting to think, let me just scroll down to it again. He said, I'm starting to think that the footage of the dancing nurses during the pandemic might have been AI generated. And when you look at the camera movements and the way that bodies move, think about the AI dancing babies. Think about the way that the dogs and the cats start to dance. Think about all of that. You think firefighters move that smoothly? The same shoulder dip, the same was this AI potentially? Think about the drone footage, the coordination, how much time that would take. Was this AI before we knew it? Come on, give me a break. Look at that. They're perfectly spaced in those things. Come on. That is AI if I've ever seen it. There's not a single person out of tune. The zoom outs. Come on. I just don't buy that. So I'm going to let this play. But again, everybody has seen, the babies that start dancing and they look real, or the dog, or like, you ever seen the Ring camera videos where a damn cougar takes a guy off his porch when he's trying to get in and he can't unlock the door fast enough? That's all AI. Here's my question. Here's what I want to know. Look at the letters. I'm just coming up with this now on the spot, but if you look at the letters, I'd be curious. If you look at this hospital name, is it spelled right? If it's not AI, I don't know, dude. I've been holding this one close to the chest because I felt like whether or not nurses actually did this, there would be somebody with a vested interest to put this out there simply for views and ad revenue that might not have anything to do with anybody in the healthcare field. And that's thank you for the super chat, Nebula. That's my point. Did somebody exploit how busy nurses were? And could the news not say at that time, this is AI? Because then it would have people saying, oh my God, they're using AI. But really, was it just somebody that was exploiting a trending current event with AI? But I would encourage people, go watch other AI videos and compare the body language movements. And again, to everybody that has tuned in for some sort of comfort or relief, I'm honored. I love you guys. I appreciate you. It's really hard for me to not get a lump in my throat whenever I read comments like that. Just know that it really makes me grateful. to say the least. And I'm going to go ahead and go through these super chats now. We have Nina Love said, my husband thinks I was cheating since I don't talk to him about this case anymore. Instead, I cook and clean with my AirPods in, listening to you. Thank you. Don't stop being you. It pisses people off. Nina, that is an epic comment. And if your husband is listening, I've never met her. But cheers to both of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Michelle Vibe Happy 87 said, I've had a rough week. Thanks to you, the mods, and chat and Discord taking my mind off other things. It's the best compliment. It really is. And again, I'm grateful. It's fun to be able to come in here and every night. You guys have done that same thing for me too. I don't want that to go unrecognized. I've really felt that same thing, turning on the camera, starting the stream, and just, immersing myself in the discussion. And it is a great feeling to just be able to mentally let go. So thank you, Michelle Vibe Happy. Stay Sticky for You says, I've been subscribed and watching forever. I just never say shit. I love your show. True Crime Junkie. Love your honesty and real talk. Well, thank you, Stay Sticky for You, for the giant super chat. And I appreciate that. I will never change. I will always keep the hive as far as the chat being a leading influence in what we talk about, where we go every night. It's the best. Tennessee says, and thank you for providing the pronunciation. Tennessee Connie, hey, from Gatlinburg. I have a question. What are you wearing with that jacket? Boxers, LMAO, visual. Sorry, Miss Birdie, no disrespect intended. Your husband's easy on the eyes. Here, I'll show you guys. Here's the outfit. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, I'm rocking the work from home special. Business on the top, party on the bottom, right? Crazy Bird Lady said, Dylan is being protected because she is the narrative. Without her, the whole thing falls apart. The real people start looking at the real perps. I agree. I totally agree. That is so well said. If I was to say I need an elevator pitch on what Dylan's role is in the media and publicly, as far as how she's protected, I would use this. I would say Dylan is being protected because she's the entire narrative. Without her, the narrative, the case, the story of Brian Koberger, it falls apart. And then people have to start actually answering questions for the real perps. So great question, Crazy Bird Lady. That's a good one. Blue-Eyed Candy said, now play her matter-of-fact tone in the interviews. No trauma detected in her voice then whatsoever. Especially in the ones with Detective Gooch. I agree. I also would segue off that, Blue-Eyed Candy, and I would say the detectives, there's a diminishing return, I'm sure, where somebody who might be guilty would pick up on it, where you're just trying to be overly nice to them. But how he's like, oh yeah, did they have Adderall? Well, we called it something else back in my day. And I would pay my rent by having keggers. One, it's so out of touch. That's not just a good cop, bad cop technique. That's like, I don't give a damn because, again, I'm just thankful you're here. And at any time, you could tell me to shut the hell up, and I will. Your lawyer's here. We're just grateful you're here. It's so wild. And thank you for the super chat. Just Me, I6E, says, knowing what I know now, she's expressing loss of the one she loved, Brian. And her friends ripped away and transplanted across the country. She's speaking to someone else responsible for the decisions that changed, or that night that changed her. Whoa. Whoa. I know that there's times where Devil's Advocates has kind of flirted with that idea back in the day of, do Dylan and Brian have a connection with their horror movies? And but that's an interesting question. That Dylan seems to be the only person that he looks at when she talks, right? He does not, to Blue Eyed Candy's comment right there. I can't put it up because of the super chat. He does not Brian doesn't. Nobody says Brian Koberger's name. And your super chat comment color matches my hat, which I thought was random. And again, ADD brain. I don't know why I felt the need to just say that. Thank you for the super chat. Just me, I6E. Law Chick said, Birdie, you are a bright light in a dark world. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Law Chick, and I appreciate the super chat. I try to be. And you guys help me do that. Nebula 1111, just to talk about again, the dancing nurses. Yeah, no way. In general, can we just talk about, so in my day job, I do medical device sales. I talk to unit nurses all of the time. I would be flabbergasted if they have the time to prepare not only coordinated dances and film it and set somebody up, but they do it that good. I can't even get 10 minutes on their calendar because they're so busy outside of a pandemic. So it just really makes you question that. And nurses are very sweet people. My mother was a nurse. My mother-in-law is a nurse, right? I've had my day job for almost a decade. I love it. But I'm telling you, there's certain things that just, I saw that. I'm like, I've been in a hospital every day in critical care units and ORs and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I can't even get them to come to a 5-minute education in service on a regular day. Ty and Stoddard, or if I butcher that, if it's like combined, I suck at reading names that are like, if they're combined names. Thank you for the super chat, 7151. I appreciate that. Wasp 5618, thank you so much for the big super chat. Said, I love your passion, your mind, and your big heart. Please don't ever change. I won't. If I ever do, I wouldn't be doing this. Or if I continue to do this, mods, you have permission to track me down and tase me in the neck or blow dart me in the middle of the stream if I ever change from this. I don't think I will. You guys really do. It always feels weird to say this about yourself, but it's like you guys really get to see me on camera as exactly the same person how I am with my buddies or with my wife. I do my best to be as authentic as I can. And I really give a shit about this stuff. I really do. Appy Cakes 117 says, Aspen from Espanola, New Mexico, love the Hive. And I love the fact you don't clap back when other creators have you all up in their mouth. Stay humble. You know what? Thank you for saying that, because you know what? That might be one thing, not personally or outside of the stream, that's a little bit different, because I do keep the stream and the Hive in mind. I'm not just representing myself. I feel like the Hive is a community to the point where I keep everybody in the Hive in mind, where I'm like, I'm sure most people have had their parents tell you like, hey, you are, a part of this family. If something happens, you're not just representing yourself. You represent your brother and your sister at that school, or your mom at work if people hear about it. I really try to do that. Don't get me wrong. I'm a human. In my head, I'm like right there, right? Everybody does that. And I try to portray that in a way that is respectful, though, knowing what I know. So Hive, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's stream. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe, say a prayer for everybody that's going through something in here, because if you are one of those people, just know we love you and we care about you. You are in our thoughts, you are in our prayers, and we feel very, very grateful to have you here. And Nisi 000 says, I just love your show. Your honesty is beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And Hive, I will see you tomorrow. You know what? I want to say one other thing. And maybe I'm being a little bit too open here. Not even that. Just some people might think this. I don't. I have the empathy that I do because when I was 24, I lost my dad. When my brother was 21, he lost his dad. And when my sister was 16, she lost her dad, right? Held my father's hand as he took his last breath. So when I hear stories about people losing others, it's really hard for me to just take that in. And so if you hear me kind of get a crackly throat, I can't help it. It's a combination of streaming every night. I completely underestimated how much damage that would do to my throat just talking for an hour and a half every night, 6 days a week. But in addition, I only do this because I love it. And so when I have people that tell me and leave the comments that they do, that gets talked about at the dinner table with my wife, and my mom knows about it, and my brother knows about it. And that's why I think I take time to explain how much it means to me. And we are going to make a real difference. We are. Okay. The Hive is still an infant. We have a bright future with everybody in here. We're going to make a lot of awesome changes for many people in their lives. And I hope you all sleep well and have a fantastic Friday. With that, cheers. Or with that, Hive, I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.